Welcome back to another episode of Coffee with Carl. We have some really weird stuff to talk about today, so let's get right into it. First thing I saw this week is that Milwaukee is starting their own line of boots, which is kind of unexpected. Now, I mean, a lot of other companies have done that. Think about Caterpillar, right? They got their start in excavation equipment and, heavy stuff like that. And then they moved into workwear. But again, it's not like Caterpillar. Now, I might be speaking out my ass here. I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think that Caterpillar went and built a factory in which to create boots. Most of the time what these people will do is they'll just find a factory that's already making boots. They'll kind of, send them their specs and what they want it to look like and whatever, go through a few samples, and eventually they're making them. It's private label. That's what a lot of companies do. Because in order to tool up and make a product as complicated as boots, it takes a lot of time. And unfortunately, the people with the knowledge on how to make boots are kind of rare nowadays. So, you find one of these old shoe dogs who knows their stuff, people kind of tend to hold on to them. So there are a couple of different factories around the world. One of the ones that I know of is a company called Black Diamond. I don't think they even make their own boots at all. I think all they do is make these boots for different companies. So the reason I say that is that I don't think that Milwaukee went and built a factory in order to make these boots. Most likely what they did is they talked to another factory and had them private labeled. So they look kind of cool. I mean, it looks like they have two different versions here. I'll play the video. It's only a teaser. These things aren't even available yet. The Flex Tread and the Armor Tread. So I guess it depends on what you want. They probably have a lightweight version and a more heavy duty version depending on what you need. Now, I think it's probably safe to say, not even knowing a thing about these boots, is that they're probably going to be mostly synthetic. I mean, you don't see a whole lot of leather on them, and a lot of times these big factories, they can pump out synthetic stuff much quicker than they can with natural materials. It's reliably the same all the time, whereas a natural material like leather has weak spots, and clicking itself, which is just cutting sections of the hide, is sort of an art altogether. So I think that we're going to be given something kind of like those Red Wing Apex boots that I looked at a little while ago, where they're just mostly synthetic, and that might be fine for some people. But as a guy who loves Milwaukee tools, and I really do, I just bought their battery chainsaw. I saw this and I was like, come on, Milwaukee. Unless you're really offering us something interesting and different, if you have the ability to like snap in a 12-volt battery pack and then have heated boots or something, or ones with, lights, whatever, then it's something different. But I think that we're going to see here is nothing better than most of the $150 or $200 boots that you can get out there. Origin USA had a huge drop. I think it was yesterday. So it's Saturday for me, although you're seeing this on a Wednesday. So hello from the past. But they did a huge drop on some trousers and pants and stuff like that. So they have their Versa utility pant, which looks pretty cool. They actually came out with their work jeans, which I already have. Matter of fact, I'm wearing my original factory jeans right now. I've had these things forever. And I got to tell you, just from my own experience, having them for several years, the stretch, the look, the utility of them, and the durability, they've held up extremely well. I'm very, very happy with my Origin jeans. So they, I think, have redone that line though. So their work jeans are coming out, $129 for those. The Moab stretch cotton double knee pant, that looks pretty cool. Again, these are all pre-sale right now. So this is they just dropped, right? I mean, when you watch this, maybe they'll be available for direct purchase and you can have them sent out. Their Delta Flex jeans, and it looks like they have a Moab cotton stretch pant, which without the double knees, and then the Essential hoodie, which I think has been around for a long time. So I think I'm getting down into the stuff that's their normal line. But anyway, I'm not going to edit out because that's what this channel is all about. So Origin is making some big strides this year. I knew that they were going to. I actually spoke with Pete Roberts in the beginning of the year and kind of talking about what they were going to be doing. And I love the fact that they're always pushing forward. It's really inspiring to see an American company doing what they're doing. So based on that, and also based on my experience with their jeans and their boots, to be fair, I'll support the company. I like what they're doing. I think their product is solid. I think their price point is reasonable for what you're getting. So what's not to like? Carhartt came out with a new jacket. I mean, that's kind of interesting because, like Carhartt, this is what happened, all right? And just from a guy with a little bit of inside knowledge here, when COVID happened and all that stuff and the supply chain got all boogered up, a lot of innovation was sort of stagnant. So you didn't see much coming out of these companies. That's all going to change. And I think what we're going to see is that a little bit of like a dam effect right? It's been holding back for a long time, and now it's going to come flooding in. So we're going to see some really cool stuff coming up. So even more reason to subscribe. It's right there. It's right there. So go ahead. Anyway, so they have a new jacket out. This is called the Rugged Flex Relaxed Fit Duck Jacket, which you got to give it to Carhartt. They have the names of their products are descriptive, if nothing else. Okay, that's for sure. They'll tell you what it's made out of, the fit, and kind of like what it's supposed to do. They don't give it a name anymore, like the Detroit jacket or whatever, you know, like the J130, whatever. So I got to tell you though, this is actually probably one of the best looking jackets that they've come out with in recent memory, ever since the Detroit jacket. And I don't mean the new Detroit jacket. It wasn't really my thing. I prefer the older ones. I like the cut of those. And I should probably do a refresh of that video because that whole market has blown up. It's crazy. I could probably sell my old Detroit jacket, as ratty as it is, for $200 right now. I bought it for like $89. Anyway, this guy right here is $99. It is an unlined jacket, which looks like it has a very classic layout. You've seen this layout, guaranteed. 2 hand warmer pockets. The same piece of fabric is actually brought up to create the chest pockets. It's a very effective design, and I don't think it's cut. So I think it's hard to tell from the picture, but it sort of swoops up. And again, you've seen this because a lot of people a lot of companies have made this. So flapped chest pocket, 2 hand warmer pockets, a slight drop tail on there, and totally unlined. This is one of those jackets that I would absolutely keep in my truck. That's what my old Detroit jacket was. I had it hanging in my work van for those mornings that were cold, or when we had to work a little late and it got cold, whatever it was. Or we go into a building and it's like 25 degrees cooler in there, whatever it is, basements. And I could see this being one of those. They also did a self fabric lining, so it doesn't have a collar made of corduroy or anything like that. This looks like a down and dirty, bare bones work jacket, which I like. So yeah, I'm surprised. Comes in 2 colors, Carhartt brown and black. So whichever one is your style, go ahead and pick one up because that's a great deal. I mean, $99 for that jacket is great. And these things, they last forever. Can Kato brand please have 1 week where they don't come up with something amazing? Because they've done it again. This is called the Vise, and I love their names. Again, it looks like they go into their workshop, spin around, and whatever they point at, that's what the next thing is gonna be made of. So they have the file, the hammer, the chisel. Now we have the Vise. And the Vise looks like basically a chore coat with 1 pocket. This is the Sashiko dark indigo one that I'm looking at right here, $388. Now, I got to tell you, as you browse through, because I think that they make the Vise in several different materials. Sashiko is particularly interesting, and I really like it. It has a certain stretch and flex to it because it's this woven fabric, very loose weave, and it looks really cool when it's done, especially if it's indigo like this. So it's going to fade and look really, really cool. But I got to tell you this much. I ended up getting a pair of those Mammoth jeans, the 17.5 ounce with the 4-way stretch. They are incredibly unique in their wearing experience because when you get jeans that are that heavy, it's always like the first few days are honestly painful because you're just like, where your knees bend and up by your hips and everything like that. They just don't feel good. Now, these had a little bit of that. They certainly did. They were stiff. They're thick. But they were much more forgiving. So I was able to crouch down without a problem. And the break-in was accelerated dramatically. Within the end of a week, I was like, okay, they're not bad. But I haven't never seen anything that thick, which has broken in so easily. So Kato, man, I mean, keep your eye on them. They do just incredible stuff. I subscribe to their newsletter. And like I said, every week I'm like, oh man, another thing I gotta have. Just love the brand. Now, here's something for those of you who are into EDC. I'm looking for another daily carry knife. Okay, so recently I've been carrying this, which I love. This is the Big Idea Design, their utility knife. And I can't remember what it was called, but it's titanium. It's great because it takes these replaceable utility blades. So when you're opening packages or whatever, you don't feel bad about using your like high carbon steel, EDC blade. And it's great. Look at this thing. But like anything, you get the itch to try something new. And I was actually inspired by one of these episodes where I needed a knife because I was opening a bunch of packages on air or whatever. And I grabbed my old CRKT, Columbia River Knife and Tool knife. Now, this is a knife that it was also kind of the beginning of something for me when I had a whole bunch of pocket knives before that, but most of them were cheap. right? I remember getting a few Kershaws, which were decent, which I liked a lot. I used the Surge for a long time, Tanto blade. And then I was like, you know what? I want to try a more expensive knife. And I remember dropping $110, under $15 on the M16 was like, it was a lot of money. But I remember being in the store because, online back in like the late 90s wasn't really a big thing yet. And I'm feeling this thing and flicking it out. I'm like, oh man, that is so smooth and it feels great. So I thought to myself, you know what? What is CRKT up to now? Now I have 3 different models that I've sort of narrowed it down to, and they're all very, very different. So I'd love your opinion on this, especially those of you who are into knives. So the first one that I want to check out would be more of a tactical folder. This is their M21 14 DSFG spear point. And again, it's just under $100, but this one reminds me a lot of that M16 with these really cool looking serrations. I've never seen serrations quite like this. Now, I don't do a whole lot of cutting through rope, but there are definitely times I have to cut through straps and stuff like that. But more than anything, it reminded me of the old one, but modernized. So this is the first one that piqued my interest. The second one is the Padawan. Now this is $75. And I have like the Benchmade, the Bug Out, and then what was that one that they came out with after that was really thin that everybody gave me a whole bunch of hate because I got, I can't remember what it's called now. But anyway, it's like, people were going all crazy about it. So this one here is a frame lock, and it reminds me a lot of, there was a company called, I don't know if they're still around, they were called Bird with a Y, and it was like a subsidiary of Spyderco, I believe. It was like a cheaper version, and the thumb opening almost kind of reminds me of that. This is a little sleeker, and it's also a design by Pedro Buzetti. Buzetti, hope I'm saying that right. And I just like the way it looks. I think it's really cool, and it looks like a very good deal for this particular type of steel. So, I just think it's a good looking knife. Now the last one is something completely different, and again, always trying to something interesting and new, and that's their CEO micro flipper. This is like a gentleman's knife, which I think is a cool idea, because there are times that you have to go someplace and you don't necessarily want to whip out a tactical folder, some Cold Steel like monster, or a Sebenza or something like that. You want something that's a little bit more subdued, right? Because it's still a knife, but it looks a little bit better. And this is $70. So same kind of thing. It's less expensive than most other knives, but it looks like it'll get the job done, and it won't scare people in the meantime. So those are the 3 that I'm looking at. Let me know which one you think looks best, and maybe we'll go with that one. Now here's something that I probably shouldn't do, but I'm going to do anyway. Brunt sent me an email. I've been waiting for my cease and desist letter from them for a long time, but it must have gotten lost. I don't know. I mean, all the stuff that I've said about them, all of which is true, I'm sure that somebody there has taken notice. It happens. But they're people, again, because Brunt is basically like this faceless corporation, right? It's that guy says that he's like the dude, Eric, whatever. But there's stories about him which are really only supposed to be told over beer in private. Anyway, the next generation of Brunt. Now they're actually redoing their Marin. Okay, so this is their email right here. I don't think it says anything about me not having or not being able to say anything about it. I'm gonna say it anyway. What are you gonna do? Take away my birthday? So they basically are redoing the Brunt Marin. They're giving it triple stitching rather than double stitching. Looks like they're just doing a few other things. But let's talk about this is their key messaging, the things that they would like somebody to talk about. Okay, this is what we get, right? As quote-unquote influencers, we get emails from companies which say, this is what we're releasing, this is what we want you to talk about, these are the things that we don't want you to talk about. So I'm gonna give you a little inside baseball as to the way that these companies do business. When I get stuff like this, usually it goes right in the trash, because you're not gonna tell me what I can't say. This is my channel. I'm up here. Go pound sand. Anyway, key messaging for this one, improved fit and comfort, improved cushion and support, breathable construction, and Brunt's signature cushion footbed. Yeah, okay. Well, basically what they have is they have a footbed that you can put in to change the sizing, which I actually thought was pretty slick. But foam is foam. All kinds of companies have said they've been reinventing the wheel for years, and I know that Poron has come along and whatever. Basically all it is either a combination or one or the other of closed cell or open cell foam. That's it. All right, so, okay, going along, enhanced durability. All right, now we're talking. What have you done, Brunt? Have you changed the leather you're using is a little bit better? Oh, have you changed it to a Goodyear welt so now people can actually, have them resold if they want to? No. Double and triple stitching. Okay. Improved waterproof construction and barnyard resistant leather. What does that mean? Do you need barnyard resistant leather? What is in a barnyard that needs to be resisted? I don't know why that is a thing. That might be, like their tagline or what they're going to call it. I mean, look for that kind of marketing coming soon because we know how aggressive they are with their marketing. You're going to see barnyard resistant leather just shoved down your throat every time you open up social media. Unmatched performance. You know those boots I told you about that were like tested in that chamber where they moved it around until you slipped? This blows all those out of the water. It's unmatched. Slip, oil, and heat-resistant outsoles. So you wildland firefighters out there who were buying whites before and like whites hot shots and smoke jumpers or whatever, don't worry about it. You got these. Same value equation. Still the best boots your money can buy. With a 30-day risk-free guarantee. This is the kind of crap that I hate. You expect me to say that these are the best boots that money can buy? No, Brunt. I'm not going to say that. Not even close. Now, okay, let's see. They can provide you with some stuff. Let's get down to the stuff that they don't want me to say. Like, because, oh well, what are you going to do? Not send me a pair of Brunts? Let's see. Okay, please do not call the new generation of products 2.0. Or introduce new language beyond next generation and new and improved without approval. So you got to get approval. Moving on, do not denigrate first generation products. Highlight the improvements while celebrating their continued quality. So don't talk bad about the old ones, even though the new ones are new and improved. We don't want to trash the old ones. This is all ways of controlling what these people will say. And now that you know this, watch out for some of these other influencers in the way that they'll follow these rules. Do emphasize Brunt's commitment to listening to customers and using their feedback to improve. I got a way you can improve. Don't put a fake Goodyear welt on a boot that's cemented. How about don't call it the best boots that money can buy? How about not wasting the money of people who are out there working for a living and don't have time to do exhaustive research? How about that? So they send this junk out and they expect you to abide by their rules, but I have no binding contract with Brunt. The ones that I purchased were purchased fair and square. I can say whatever I want, and it's my opinion. Although I always try to base my opinion in fact. So even though I know that I had a biased opinion because I just don't like them, I don't like what they're doing, I gave them to Tyler, asked for his honest feedback, and he gave it to me. So, that video will be coming out this week where I had Tyler try out good, better, and best boots. And I have my opinions based on who I've worked with and who I like, and the ones that, like Nick's always have a kind of a soft spot. I have a soft spot for Nick's because they were the boots that I bought, which really transformed my opinion. Now, that doesn't mean that they're better than Frank's or better than Drew's or Westco or White's or anything like that. It just means that, to me, there's a little bit of an emotional connection there, which you don't have, right? So I always try to temper my opinion with remembering that I'm supposed to provide you with information, peppered in with my own kind of feelings too, right? Because I'm not a white paper. So anyway, that's what I have for you this week. I have loved talking to you guys in the comments. I'm sorry that I'm not in there more. Again, trying to balance my full-time job, doing this and everything. It can be a little bit cumbersome, but I see you in there and I see the same people in there, and I really am so thankful. So even if I don't respond or respond to your response, know that it's not because I don't want to. Honest to God, if I could sit there and just talk to you guys all day, I would do it. But unfortunately, time doesn't allow for that right now. So anyway, guys, have a great week. I will see you next week, and I'll catch you later.